are back, and it is time for this conversation. Ladies and gent, are y'all ready for this conversation?
Ready.
It is the
Get
show
ready,
is
get
Stop
ready,
Playing
get ready.
With My Emotions.
Get ready, get ready, get ready.
Y'all
Get ready,
he is
get ready, get
today.
ready.
He's got stuff to say.
Ready.
Brother Carter's hyped today.
He is
You got
hyped.
stuff to say.
He has stuff. Stop playing with my emotions is the topic, and I'm just going to throw that. When you heard that title, what did you think about, Jennifer?
Hey. Let the people introduce themselves first, baby. You
We've had so many introductions.
Yeah, but
so many
introduce yourself. I want you to look at the camera,
Excuse
Miss Jen.
me, baby.
Okay, you the host.
are
I'm the co-host. My
co-host.
bad.
Okay, thank you. And this is not the men's episode. These ladies have been here before. Now, before they
But
answer
there's
the
some
question,
people that's out here that have never seen them before.
y'all see
We should be watching.
When
Y'all-
they was out here the first time, we had 100 viewers. Now we have tens and thousands of viewers.
okay,
And so tens and thousands of
People
viewers
don't
have
even
not
know.
never seen them before.
I appreciate you. That's why
Yeah.
you're the co-host. Could y'all please? He won that battle.
Okay.
So can y'all please? Thank you, Jennifer. Can
Okay,
you introduce
I got this.
yourself?
I got
You
this.
got this. Okay.
I'm Jennifer Barnes.
Look at that
I'm-
camera.
okay.
Y'all, he likes y'all to look at the camera. This is your camera.
My name is Jennifer
right?
Barnes.
Okay.
I am the mother of Abigail here on the show. So going to your question, she said that the subject was toxic relationships, and I figured she knew I was kind of the expert on that, so that was why I got invited.
Okay.
So when I saw that the title was "Don't Mess with My Emotions," I kind of already went back to the toxic relationship,
To the
thing.
toxic
and
relationship.
I'm ready.
You gonna
You're
talk
ready for-
about
I've
it
got
today?
lots of information.
You got
Lots of background.
Yeah, but you have moved.
I'm not bitter
you
about it,
moved-
though.
You
That's why I
moved
told
from
you.
those toxic relationships. Though, correct?
Yes, I moved into
Okay, so
no
you can
relationship.
tell someone what it's like to be in one
Yes.
and what it's like to translate yourself out of.
Transfer yourself out. You said
Transfer.
translate.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
All right. Who else do we have? Oh, all right. I'm not the host.
I hope I can.
All right. And then, of course, I have, Miss Jennifer, go ahead and introduce
That's
yourself.
not-
not Jennifer. Oh, my
Jennifer
God.
just introduced
Oh, my
herself.
God.
You
Yeah.
need me to host the show?
You are so petty.
Come on, you got it.
You are so petty. Kristin, I'm sorry. Go
Yes.
ahead.
Hi, I'm Kristin. I've been friends with Jennifer for
What do we
years
figure?
and years and years,
Mhm.
and also just love Abigail, and I've been in her life for quite some time. When this topic came up, the funny thing is, no offense, Jennifer, when you told me the topic, I was like, "Oh, your mom will know a lot about this." And then I was like, but my second thought was, "Oh, Abby, I know why you reached out to me,"
Oh.
because I was like, we got this. I mean, and Jennifer and I, we've been friends for years, and what did we always say? If we could host a radio show,
Oh, yeah.
all we would talk about
It's toxic.
would be toxic relationships and men and our relationships and what we've done wrong and like everything in hindsight. So
I think it get pretty
yes,
boring really quick, though.
I
don't know.
I think this is going to be a great conversation, and I'm glad that you guys are excited about it. So, Brother Carter,
Yes.
is it okay for us to move on to the show?
Yes.
All right. All right, then. So again, stop playing. Has anyone ever played with your emotions? And I'm going to look at, since Jennifer says she has a lot to say, I'm going to ask you, has anyone, just that one simple question, has
Yes.
anyone ever played with your
Sure.
emotions? Did you know it at first, or when did you figure out, you know what, you're full of crap?
I've had more than one relationship in my life, and some were more obvious than others, right?
Okay.
Some were, and I'm not even saying the person was aware they were playing with my emotions in some cases.
But do you think sometime we're playing with our own emotions
Sure.
because we know from
Absolutely.
out the gate that this is not right?
Absolutely.
So we stay in something knowing that it's not, hoping that we can change them.
100%.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
guilty of that.
So
And I think it's like a younger woman's mentality,
Yes,
right?
yes,
You're
yes.
just gonna feel it
Gonna ride
out,
it out.
try and fix things, see if things will change.
All the signs are
not
there.
stand by your boundaries,
Yes.
and then you're setting the tone for what you're willing to accept, and so
Mhm.
it's not really ever going to change.
it's not going to change.
Let me just synopsis my whole life right there.
Okay.
Is there a special song, country song related to that?
All of them,
Emotion?
all of them,
Why a country song?
because they just all.
Yeah.
They all
Sing.
about that. Okay. What about you?
yes. Well, I mean, who hasn't been played? I
Mhm.
mean, let's be honest.
Right.
Everybody has, and that's just part of life and part of growing up. And hopefully, as you go through relationships, whether they're, you're starting off young, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, your marriage, everyone's been played at one time or another. I've just been played a lot
Mhm.
because I put too much trust in people right out of the gate.
Mhm.
And the older I get, the more aware of these things.
Right.
And like you said earlier, like friends.
Yes.
Like, the older I get, it's true what they say. Like your closer friends, you don't have this
It's not a
huge group of totally awesome, trusting, dependable friends. The older you get, you realize that group gets smaller and smaller.
Yes.
And, that's your crew.
That's your crew. And when I think about being in a unhealthy relationship, especially as someone that's young, you don't really know that it's unhealthy. You're really kind of going in it just to have fun, and you want to have that opposite sex or that opposite person in there just to kind of feed that need of getting out there. And you look up and you're like, what the heck have I gotten myself into? So if we go back to our early 20s, just a couple of years ago.
Right.
Just a couple of years ago.
It's like yesterday.
Do you think that you would be dating the same type of guy today, 20 years later?
Mm-hmm.
My 20s, I had a very
Maybe.
broad spectrum.
Yeah. Okay.
I tend to have a pattern of the bad boy and then the like nice sweet guy.
So you
And
like
when nice sweet guy doesn't work out, I go back to the bad boy.
so when you say the nice sweet boy,
Nerds. I like nerds.
you like nerds? You want them to read a book to you?
Yeah, not too.
And then you get
I want them to be able to read. So
and then
that's that. And then the next one doesn't have. to
and
read.
then you get bored with them.
No,
You don't.
No, I've been I've had a couple nerds, and I've been the dumpy usually. Maybe I'm not nerdy enough.
So you go nerdy, then you go gangster.
Yeah,
I'm confused.
I'm so confused too.
Okay.
It took me a lot of years to figure out there was a pattern, and I'm like, hey, what? Oh wait,
Oh,
no.
okay. This is going.
I'm describing the craziness that one did, and then realized, wait, that's happened before.
I've done that
So,
before.
yeah.
Let me ask, since we have a man in the house,
Mm-hmm.
I know it's safe to say the 20-year-old guy and the 50-year-old guy, would you date the same type of person? Like
I ain't dating no guy.
a person. If you had it to do it all over again, and it's safe, would it be the same type of person that you started off?
I don't know what you mean by that. That sounds like a setup question.
It's not
He
feeling-
can't really say it to you.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Well, you mean would I date you in my?
We dated in our 20s. I know
Yeah.
that's a hard
That's
question
what
to
you're
ask.
asking me. If I
Yes,
would date you
today,
in my
knowing
40s
the-
and 50s.
Yes,
But
knowing.
he's still with you, Val. He can't answer that.
Yes, he can. This is a truth telling
That's a
here.
setup.
It is, but he better say the right.
Yeah.
No, I want him to say the truth.
There's no wrong or right answer.
It
to
is
that. There's
okay.
no-
You want me to answer it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. The person that I am today,
Mm-hmm.
would I, in my 20-year-old, still date? I am so grateful that I am still with my husband and we have evolved.
Yeah, you got a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I was seeking today in my 50s, would I still be seeking
A 20-year-old.
A good
I hope not. I hope not.
the man that you were then? Absolutely not.
Well, no, we all change.
No,
right?
right.
Yeah.
But he's a person of good character, but he had to evolve in it. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I didn't, don't get, I'm not nervous.
I get what you're saying, because I wouldn't be looking for a 20-year-old Valerie neither right now.
Okay, see, don't piggyback on my
Okay.
conversation. So I wouldn't date. I probably wouldn't be seeking someone that was so absorbed in themselves. And yeah, you was absorbed in yourself. You were like,
Oh,
kind
Throw
of-
down over here.
yeah. And so I wouldn't. So today, at the age of almost 60, I would be looking for something different, someone like the man that you are now. So I asked, would I date the person that you were at 20?
Mm-hmm.
No,
you did.
but I wouldn't now, knowing what I know.
No, you wouldn't date a 20-year-old.
Oh, I can't
You're
stand
60
y'all.
years old.
I can't stand y'all. But you understand what I'm saying?
I do
Let's
understand.
talk about the character.
I mean,
Listen.
I in my 20s, I dated because I wanted the attention.
Yes.
I wanted the attention because for me, it stems so much further back.
Yeah,
I mean,
there you go.
because it stems back to your family,
things,
how you were raised, what you saw,
what was going on in your household at that time. So that was a savior. He was a savior for me in a lot of ways. Not knocking anything about him. It was really about me,
which is crazy because I was looking to be saved.
Yes, and so that's why I'm going there, and I think I make people uncomfortable because I am so straightforward about it. But I have to be honest, there were things going on in my home and with me personally, that Lawrence was a savior. However, for
Please don't give me that title.
Well, you were for me. I'm being honest.
No.
But for me at that time, he was. But not realizing that he was just as unhealthy is what I was coming from. Go ahead.
Don't you think it's a lot of pressure to put on a person too, to save you?
Of course it was.
Yeah.
But you don't even realize that at that time when you're going through that, you don't even realize that you are putting that pressure on someone to be your everything. You don't know it until you get out of that space to be
you absolutely have to be out of it and outgrow it.
Yes.
To look back and be like, whoa,
what did I do?
Yes.
So,
but yeah, like for me, it absolutely started with family.
Yes.
My parents didn't have a good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was always seeking validation.
Yes.
And in my 20s, I was seeking validation no matter what, never considered what my self-worth should be. My standards were so low.
And you don't even, and I think it scares people when you start to have that conversation, right? Because immediately what people want to think is that, oh my God, you're putting someone on blast. No, I'm talking about myself. Mm-hmm. And I think that you have to be honest with yourself to be able to heal and move forward. And for me, I am truly healed. I know I make other people uncomfortable because I can speak so truthfully about where I am today, but I'm good with that. So
I think you said that you were looking for someone to save you. Mm-hmm. I think I was the opposite. I became that for like all my relationships.
You wanted to save everybody.
I was attracting men that needed me to save them. And for whatever reason that is.
Yes.
For whatever it is that I put out there.
Let's look at your father.
Okay, let's look at my father.
Look at your dad.
I was raised by my father.
Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, women not knowingly seek men that are just like their fathers. Would you agree or disagree?
So it's interesting you say that because when I said that I kind of like the nice guy and then the bad boy. Mm-hmm. So I have a father and a stepfather, and that would describe them. So I wonder sometimes if my fluctuation is that the influence, the men who influence my life.
Right.
But I think that it's easy for us to say it about women. I think we have to also talk about, that's why you're in the room today, to help some man out, the young man out there.
We're talking about emotions today, and men are not emotional.
Yes, you are. Yes, y'all have emotions. You just choose to hide it. Wouldn't y'all agree? I think men have emotion. I think men just are uncomfortable going there. You don't really deal I wish Stephanie was in here. Stephanie, if you're out there,
we like to deal in logic,
because it's safe.
Yeah, we like to deal in areas that make sense.
No, y'all like to deal in stuff that makes that you feel safe.
You don't tell me you tell a man about a man. A man like to deal in things that make sense. And that's why often men and women have difference of way of thinking.
Can I ask you? So women will talk about their emotions to other women and to other men.
Right.
I feel that men don't like to get into emotional relationships with other men.
Because we want to fix it.
Right. Absolutely.
We want to fix it. We want to make it make sense. And then when it comes off, because you guys are, I'm not saying all women are the same, but it comes off so emotional that there's no comprehensive way of comprehending what you're saying.
But I think that
at a lot of times, and there are certain men that have that ability to be what's the word,
Emotional.
subtle enough and understanding enough to those are the ones, the slithering kind of men that sit back and they listen to your emotions, they understand how you feel and try to fill those voids up. You know, there are certain there are men out there like
there
that.
are men that just kind of take those emotions that you have and they use them against you.
Right.
Okay,
They're
so
slithery
predator.
men. Yeah,
predator.
yes,
Okay.
predators.
So
there you go.
I am often accused of
Being a predator.
You're a predator.
Yeah. Yes, I have been accused. No, of not being emotional, of being more like a man and more logical. And I don't show a lot of emotion. I'm not a crier. Actually had men of dated get mad because they could not make me cry. Why am I going to cry?
Yeah.
Just go.
But is that because you've been hurt in your past?
I'm sure. Well, and I was
you
raised by a
just-
man. I mean,
right.
you know, you didn't. My dad, love him dearly, but
Who said a man ain't supposed to cry?
Well,
Well,
my
you're
daddy
sitting
didn't,
here,
and
but
he didn't
you're
let me
just
either.
saying right. You're just saying right here that men deal in logic and you want to fix. But I have to push back, and y'all jump in.
Push back.
I think we have to push back that it's just safer for a man not to talk about an emotion or deal with something because it may be revealing for them. I think that they don't want to reveal that they've been affected with something as well. So for a man
don't want to be in touch with that feminine side. Yeah.
But I don't even think it's a feminine. I think they just don't want to be in touch with that pain. Ooh, I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, you can say it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think, and I'm not.
No.
I think that a man doesn't want to go there because they don't want to deal with. And we have Kristin in the room. We're gonna call him over to the because we don't want to put Brother Carter in the hot seat all by himself.
No, I'm a man amongst men and a man amongst women.
Okay, there you go.
I don't think anybody wants to feel the pain.
Yes.
Right? I don't think anybody wants to visit that. I think that. And as we get older women and we are going through a lot and we've been through many relationships and we've raised our children and now we have to focus on ourselves because we're not focusing on them, we come to realize that we need to face the pain to get through it and be healthy. We can't just keep ignoring
That's
it.
it right there. And I think that that's healthy for men and women.
Sure.
Because you cannot go, it's still something blocking. And then until you start to deal with that, you just
if you just jump from relationship, you know, I know it's so cliche that you need to spend time alone. It's so true though. You just jump to relationship, you're just going to keep making the same mistakes, right?
But
or
you are
keep
the mistake.
keep attracting
the same type of people.
The same type of people that aren't your people. You know?
Let me go ahead. You had a question. Go ahead.
Jennifer.
Uh-oh.
Brother Carter.
Oh,
He's plotting. I can see it.
Y'all see it? I see this coming.
I'm so excited right now.
Oh,
What you got?
And he
Jennifer.
called your name.
He did.
Now,
What you got?
you was once 20
Yeah, last week.
and now you're 30.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Well, that was she said
That's
last
okay.
week she was
Yeah.
20.
Well, 29.
Okay, there you go.
She was in her 20s and now she's 30.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you seen yourself dealing with the same kind of man that you dealt with when he was 20 and now that you're in your 30s?
Well, I was married for good portions of that. So
best friend is ready.
So when you're married for a while through your 20s and 30s, I know I'm only 30, but you know what I'm saying? And then you are back out there. It's a whole different type of man these days.
You think?
Oh yeah. So
can you elaborate a little more on that?
Media, dating sites.
And I feel like also, I mean, age does play a factor, right? You're dealing with men who have also been through divorces and stuff like that.
She hears me talk about this.
I do. And I want to say something too, like as like we were talking about like how your parents can affect like how you go into relationships. Like I've seen my mom struggle in relationships and I've seen her be hurt and it pisses me off. It makes me mad. And like I try to not do that in my relationships. And so there was a point in time where like I was trying so hard to not make the same mistakes that she did that I walked right into a situation exactly like it.
Yes.
And she was trying to tell me and say, hey, these are things that like
I
are a
see
little
the sign.
fishy.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't even know about relationships.
Because you've had so many bad ones. How can you tell me
A
this?
little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And
She did.
I've been honest with her about that because like I was trying so hard to not make the same mistakes that I did exactly that.
But is that because you don't think that the mom, and I think this is with children in general, do you feel like you think we're so old and we're so out of touch that we couldn't possibly know what you guys are going through today?
A little bit. I'm
Until y'all bump your heads?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Because I'm like, I mean, dating is different now. And, you know, there's different types of relationships and stuff like that. And
But people are still the same.
yeah, people are
And
still the same.
that's what I'm finna
toxic.
say right here. That most of us are the same person we were as a young lad, as a young lady, young man. We're the same person, just growing up, same ideas, same way of functioning. And when you're dating and going out on dates with different people, you're pretty much dating the should I say the child version of who they really are. And just like we are a child version of our own selves. And so the difference in a relationship, I believe, is that the only thing you can make a change on is your own self, as far as what you will accept, what you will not accept, and things of that nature. Because the person that you're dating is just going to be just everyday people.
The problem is you don't know what those things you're willing to accept are right away, right?
Mhm.
You have to go through some stuff before you realize, okay, once I see the signs of this, or
Yeah.
you're out.
But
Yeah.
Jennifer,
You don't know your boundaries until they've
but
been
Jennifer.
ripped.
But Jennifer, I can tell you
This is a
and
pick on Jennifer day.
we've both experienced this, that trauma desensitizes you.
Thank you.
Trauma desensitizes
Thank you.
you in so many ways where like we can all sit here and say, oh, you know, we know our boundaries and we know what we should look for. When you have any form of trauma in your life,
Yes.
you are set back to ground zero and you
Until
don't
that
know
is
what's
dealt
healthy
with.
for you anymore.
Yes.
Or,
And you find yourself sitting in that toxic relationship
All over again.
all over
again.
even Abby we had similar experiences in our separate relationships. And so I, of course, saw the signs of what she was going through, to which she told me, you're crazy. This is not the same. I get it, because when I was going through it,
You felt the same way.
You didn't see it.
I didn't see it. And when things would happen, I would think that didn't really happen. That's crazy.
Right.
He didn't really say that. He didn't really do that. He's not doing this. Oh yes. And it got crazier. And it had to go to a point of near insanity for me to go, okay. Like I'm sorry, I can't do it anymore.
Another thing too is when a relationship is toxic, okay, most people are like, there's no way this can happen. And then they wait for it to get better.
Right.
Instead of going, no way, I'm checking out.
Yes.
So because you're like,
You numb
but
yourself
a master manipulator.
Disclaimer though, just because a relationship doesn't work out doesn't mean it was toxic, right?
No.
And just because a relationship's toxic doesn't mean it's one of the other people.
But if you have,
right? Like
true. But if you have a master manipulator
well, sure.
in your life, a
a
manipulator,
slitherer.
yes, a slitherer. They know that they're playing you.
They know it.
They know it. And you don't see it.
But the people around you.
The people around you see it.
The people around you see it. And sometimes you still see it, but you don't want to admit it.
Sure.
Well, you don't want to admit it, but you don't get out of it because you're like, but it can get better.
Right.
It can get better. And
People
I'm going to
fall
look
in love
like,
with potential.
and I'm going to look like a fool because they already told me about, so you stay in hoping for it to change.
Right. Well,
Or
she
you-
tells me that about my relationships and I tell that about her, about her relationships.
Okay.
Oh, sounds like you need to go to a 12-step program.
You're wrong about that.
'Cause I'm hearing a lot of things I heard in Cocaine Anonymous.
Oh, I'm on step 3.
Okay. We have a few questions out here. We have a few questions out here that is coming from our listeners and I guess
We're going to save a lot of these questions for the Q&A segment at the end, but Sean Monroe has a comment that I think is good.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
This
She
is
is a faithful.
And my first cousin, a very beautiful one at that.
There you go. And she's on YouTube, Brother Carter.
All right.
So she said, you have to deal with your trauma or you will continue to go through it in each relationship.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Amen.
100%.
Wow.
Anyone thinking,
Spoken like a true Marshall there.
see, look, Lord, how much
Yes,
Jesus.
Lord.
You have to be in a place in your life where you realize it's trauma, though.
And that's the thing.
But you're not just pushing it to the back. You know, you have to realize.
Well,
your
Well,
trauma.
you know, you can tend to numb yourself to things in life, you know, and
But
you
trauma-
know it's there.
But that's what people do.
Isn't that what I just
People numb themselves with
Yeah.
alcohol, with sex,
Yeah.
with drugs.
Wait, can you say that again?
That's what people do.
Yes.
People numb themselves
Mhm.
with
Right.
alcohol, sex, relationships,
Yeah.
drugs,
Yeah.
eating.
Yeah.
It can be anything.
Yeah.
Attention.
That's true.
Anything.
Yeah.
Trauma can
Anything.
present itself different too, right? Like it can present
Just because he didn't beat your ass this time,
Oh, the
but he
words,
may have.
I'm so sorry, y'all.
But he verbally abused you this
That's
time.
what I'm
But at least he didn't beat me. So
there are women who don't think, and men, by the way, who think if they
Kristin,
did not physically touch
sorry.
you, they are not abusive,
yeah.
right?
Oh, yes. Well,
There are men who think that. I've never
I've been
touched
through
you.
I've been through
Mhm.
both.
You
I've
have
been
to,
Right.
you know, so.
I've been
Yeah.
And women.
horribly abused
Mm-hmm.
mentally and once
Right, right.
physically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Terribly.
Yes.
Mhm.
And sometimes you can be mentally abused and not a cuss word or nothing came out.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's the games. They talk in circles, right? And like, it's kind of funny. There's this show called The Ultimatum. It just came out, and like, and there's like these clear signs of like toxicity. And I remember there was this conversation on one episode where I was like, I literally have had that exact conversation. And the
Mhm.
person was just talking, they were talking in circles. Like it made no sense. And I was like, and like one person is like very much the aggressor, like making it an issue when the other
Mhm.
person's just trying to express and
Yeah.
talk about something. And so it's like it's mentally exhausting.
Well,
You don't even realize it's happening.
But I think a lot of times when that is happening, just my opinion, I am not
Expert.
but my opinion, I think a lot of times when that happens, it's because the person is unwilling to deal with something that they know is happening. So it's easier to kind of make that be, you're coming at me, you're arguing, you're picking, when in fact you're not picking, you're just trying to deal with something there. So that's just kind of.
I think a lot of people stay in relationships because they're too exhausted to even deal with their own emotions sometimes.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they think they can change the other person.
Well, yes.
Oh,
I'm hitting
these are
some
best
keys up.
friends over here. I
No,
love
but
them.
I'm looking in your eyes, so to see my
Yeah.
own reflection.
I know that.
Okay,
But
I want you to know that.
No, what I
A lot
love about them,
a lot
because
of
y'all
people
true
get
for each other.
into relationships.
Yes.
This one-
and they see it's a bad relationship. They see something wrong with the individual that they're with, but they have in their mind,
They can
I can
change.
help him change.
This,
Right.
The
Or her
difference,
change
the
that.
huge difference between Kristin and I, and
Mhm.
by the way, we need a middle ground. Both of us are wrong.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is when she gets in a new relationship, this girl goes all in, 100%. She
Every
jumps
time.
in. She's the dream,
Mhm.
right? She provides us.
Mhm.
She's cooking dinner. She's rubbing your back. She's whatever else she does.
I'm a
Mhm.
She's doing other
1000%.
things. She's
Mhm.
1,000% in, and before this guy has even deemed himself worthy, so to speak,
Mhm.
right? Not that there's anything.
So
I'm just
true.
saying she
Mhm.
just jumps full force,
Mhm.
and then they do not match her energy, and then
Absolutely.
she's upset by it.
Mhm.
Whereas I'm the opposite. I give nothing.
But even in
I give nothing to you. You better. You know what? Show me what you got.
Show me what you got.
You know. You got.
even
Bye.
in my current relationship, one of the very first things you said to me was,
Yep.
"Don't overdo it.
I'm like, yep.
Go
I'm like,
slow, Kristin. Don't overdo it." And I overdid it. But the
Mhm.
reason I overdid it again goes back to my family, because I'm seeking validation from my father, which I never got. So it's total daddy.
Well,
issues.
you know, it's so funny you say that, because I felt the need of, until I had to check until I got on my journey to fix myself, get some healing for myself. I felt the need of wanting to help and save everybody. So when there was a problem, when someone had something going, oh, come call me. talk to them. Oh, I'm going to help you through it, or automatically wanting to throw a fix in their situation.
Mhm.
And I believe that's what I wanted for myself. So I was giving it to the other people, hoping that someone can see, hey, what about me? I'm a good person. Help me out over here because I'm struggling. So I think people tend to.
Well, I've personally gone through stages in my life, like back in my 20s, dating the wrong kind of people. And here I'm consciously aware, why am I with this person, or why am I dating this person?
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, when I got married, if I look back now and say, why did I marry that person? The very first answer that comes to my mind is that person was safe. That person was different. That person was kind and gentle. And that was a safe person. And it got me out of all that toxic mess that I was in. And then when that didn't work out, I go back to the mess. And then I jump into another relationship to where I'm thinking, this is a safe, good person.
Yeah.
And those safe, good people,
They're presenting
sometimes
that way too.
they present, that's where I fall into the flashing, like red flag.
Yeah.
I pick people who I think are safe, who end up not being safe.
Right.
And then
because you know what you're dating. We have many therapists that come onto the show. And often I hear the word representative. You always dating a representative until things get comfortable.
Right.
Then he shows who he is. Like that real person is.
The worst person I've ever dated in my life he represented himself to the world as, I mean,
I remember.
We're talking, you know,
accomplished, wealthy,
of course,
West Point grad. I mean, you're talking like, and you're thinking this is a person.
This is the guy.
This is a person with ethics and
morality
and
all that stuff. Yeah,
and that ended up being the worst person in my life.
You can even meet the guy that quotes scriptures and let's say he loved the Lord and all of these good things. He said, "Oh, he's just a good guy. He go to church all the time and everything." And all of a sudden, he's crazy.
Yeah,
yes,
straight.
Go ahead, Abigail.
I definitely do think people, I mean, we all want to put the best version of ourselves forward, especially in the dating. You know what I mean? You want to show the best version of yourself. You want to impress.
You want to show the crazy right out the gate.
Exactly. I think that is somewhat normal, but but what's crazy is people tell on themselves. No matter how good they are at representing, they tell on themselves.
That's true.
And you just have to listen and pay attention to it. Because I look back on my last toxic relationship. I only dated that person for exactly a year. And I'm thinking back, and in the honeymoon phase when things were perfect, I'm looking back and they were not perfect. That person told on themselves. They told me, they foreshadowed all the things that occurred in our relationship.
Wow.
And I just ignored it because I wanted it to work. Because, I being young, you also have this idea, I don't have a lot of people in my life that have long lasting marriages and relationships. So
I'm sorry.
No, I mean, that's just the world we live in too, right? And so I had this idea that love and relationships, it's supposed to be like a battle, right?
Yes.
No matter what, you just stick it through. And that's not necessarily the case.
That's the old days.
That is the old days.
That is the old days. Yeah.
Now it's divorce isn't as taboo. You know what I'm saying? If someone isn't serving you, if they're not giving anything into your life, in fact, and if they're taking away from your life, it's okay to leave.
I think that,
but that's a shame too.
But I think even in dating, if someone is pulling life out of you and you're trying to make something, so you got to step back and evaluate, is this a healthy relationship? Where am I going with this? Why am I in it? Because if they're just taking and they're not giving, you got to cut that thing.
I have a friend, and I have to admit,
it's too easy to cut things these days, and people you need to really. I don't agree with that, especially with people.
Would you want your daughter to stay in?
I don't want my daughter to even marry if she's not with the right person.
But that's what I'm saying. If
you make a commitment.
No, I'm not talking about. Listen to what I just said. I said if you're dating someone And that relationship is taking and
Yeah, I get
and-
what you're saying.
But that's the point of dating, right?
Yeah.
There's no shame in a dating
when you're
relationship not
dating,
working.
you dating, you
You got to date
yeah.
until you find the one.
Right.
So if it doesn't work out,
go.
You can move on.
yeah.
I don't want.
I'm just talking about people that are committed. When
But
you
then
get,
you can be committed and see. I want to make sure we're saying it clearly. When you
I'm
are
saying it clearly
Okay.
as I possibly can. I know what I'm saying.
okay, I'm speaking. What I'm saying is,
I'm
if you're-
saying people today too fast to throw in the towel on a relationship.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
People
Yeah.
today are so quick to just say, I'm done with this.
They see one little thing that they
Right.
don't like. They call it the ick these
Yeah,
days. You get the
yeah.
ick for somebody.
Mhm.
And it's like silly stuff, right? And there's a difference between red flags and icks.
well, I'm not talking about an ick. I'm talking about I don't want my daughters or sons sitting in a relationship or in a dating situation that is unhealthy and they're seeing all kinds of signs. This is not good. Get out of it. You're not married.
Mm.
You are not committed. Get out of it. It's only going to get worse. So you cannot
So
change
you
someone.
suggest what you suggesting is just have fun.
No,
Just
I'm not
dating,
suggesting that. What I'm
Don't get committed to nothing.
no, that's not what I'm saying. What I am
That's
saying,
what I'm taking.
and
That's what
I'm
That's what
looking.
that's the vibe.
No, I'm
I'm
kidding.
looking at this
Oh.
camera and I'm saying, if you're dating someone and you're getting all of the signs that it's clearly stating this is unhealthy,
Mhm.
they're going to break you. They are breaking you. They're taking from you. You have to step back, evaluate that. And most of the time you've already gotten the signs. Step away, get out of it.
Mhm.
Your peace, your joy, your happiness is more important than just
Mhm.
staying in a relationship for the sake of staying in a relationship. Get out of it. That's
But
what I'm saying.
I would say that most people don't have the strength to do that.
And of course you do.
Or you've
You
put
don't
yourself in a
think-
situation.
You don't think that you have the strength to do
Mhm.
that. I didn't think that I had the strength to do that. The strength was there. You just
Mhm.
sometimes you have to just see the signs. You have to literally see the signs and know that you are important.
Yeah.
I don't want my
Most
daughters-
people are just so weak. They cannot.
They believe that
And
they're weak.
no, you are weak in your own finite thinking, in your
Okay.
own
Right.
self-thinking. And that's why I read scripture earlier today about trying to develop a relationship with God, which would give you, see, I never would have got off crack cocaine had I not seek the Lord first.
Mhm.
And just like getting off crack cocaine or any other addiction, it take more than just you yourself
True.
to get out of this toxic, addictive.
Cycle.
It
Yes.
is an
It take
that's
more
an
than
addiction.
yourself.
Yes.
You
It's an
know,
addiction, sure.
yeah, it does. I don't care what it is. I don't
And
care.
you have to have some people around you that's going to be honest with you.
Well, you got to have a relationship with God and start
First.
trying to seek Him and for your strength.
Mhm.
Because you like the scripture
100%.
said today, let your moderation be known unto man that the Lord is at hand.
True.
Do nothing without prayer and supplication unto the Lord,
Mhm.
and that would give you the peace and that surpassive. Oh, remember I was talking about surpassing all understanding, all the bull that we see around us. You can't get past that stuff if you don't have a clear understanding of going past it. Because most of the time we stay in the what we understand, should I say, what we
Mhm.
see.
Mhm.
We it's hard to get out of that situation.
Well, it's also an addiction, right? If you're in a very push and pull type relationship,
Mhm,
giving affection, taking it away,
Right.
right? Giving affection, taking it away.
mhm.
It's like the highs and lows of a drug addiction,
It is.
It is. Yeah.
right?
It's an addiction.
So they give it to you, you feel good, then they pull it away.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Then you want to know how you can get back there to get that
Right.
again.
You want
And it
that
becomes
first high
few-
again.
and it
Yeah.
becomes fewer and far between. And you have to do more and lose more of yourself to get it back.
Mhm,
And you have to give it more of your boundaries.
mhm.
And you have to,
You're
you
describing
have to
me.
basically just hit rock bottom, much like drugs. You have to hit
Yeah.
rock bottom
Yeah.
where you're so miserable
Right.
and you're not getting that validation from your other person,
Mhm.
rarely. and it costs more and more to do it.
But I
right?
do,
Of
and
yourself,
that goes
of your soul.
right back to what I was saying. That's very good because it is it is an addiction because you're wanting to get back to that place of what he gave you.
Yeah, remember when
or
he loved
she
me?
gave, yes.
Remember when he thought I was the
But
world?
it was never
You know?
there in the
No,
first
it
place.
wasn't. But you
And-
think you're going to do all the right things to get that back in.
And it was never there. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying when I speak of my daughters
Yeah.
and my sons, my nieces and nephews,
Yeah.
pay attention to the signs.
Yeah.
Pay attention and know that you are valued. Yes, you must. You have to seek something higher than yourself,
Yeah,
which is
you're
God.
speaking the right
Yeah.
things into their lives.
Yeah,
That's
you
for
know,
sure.
you have to because there was. I'm going to say it for myself. You bring that broken person that you were, that you are, into that relationship that you're really not using good judgment because you're only using the judgment from your broken state.
Mhm.
So that's my.
And we talked a few weeks ago about love bombing.
Mhm.
And I think that plays a big role in it too, because someone is telling you you're the world, you're great, you're all these things, and really soon, right? And like,
yes.
and I used to move very quickly in relationships because like it feels good, right? Like it feels good, like that someone like, wow, you really like me, and I'm a little
You finally
I'm
see
you
me.
right, like I'm a little
Somebody
conceited.
say it. Yes.
I'm a little arrogant myself. So I'm
Yes.
like, of course I'm awesome. Of course you love me
Glad
after
somebody
we
sees it.
right? And like they see that someone might be a little bit broken and they give them all that love and affection right off the bat to
Yeah.
reel you in, to get you locked in, and then they immediately take it away. But you're still addicted to that
The
initial
initial feeling.
feeling. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I want to ask y'all a question kind of related on that. Because, like, from what I understand, everything, love bombing, like, that's a very intentional thing a lot of times. Whenever you're sitting here thinking, it's like, okay, I'm going to give you all the love, and then you're going to love me. And, like when you do it like that, it's very manipulative. But do you think with the way, because, like, I know we have, like, a lot of mental health problems, and there's a lot of craziness, and, you know, life just feels so much faster because, you know, the internet and everything like that. But do you think that, I guess my question would be like the love bombing, this kind of stuff. Do you think this is just kind of second nature at this point because it's so commonplace? Because I would sit here and I'm like I don't have a ton of dating experience, but like the last guy I talked to, I recognize my faults and everything like that. And I was thinking like, oh, I'm being honest, and then in reality, it's like, no, I'm oversharing. You can be honest without oversharing,
Yeah.
Right.
but it's
Don't
like
do that, Aaron. Don't overshare.
I'm learning.
Well, people will take that and then use it against you,
Yeah.
right? Like they're
Right, but
heal your
the-
insecurities, and then they'll throw it right in your face.
Right. And like I said, I'm learning. But the question I did want to ask is like,
That's
That
why-
because
The answer to your question,
Yeah.
I think, is very intentional. That people doing what they do, how they love bomb you and all this stuff, it's intentional. They
Mhm.
have a pre-planned
They
Pre-planned
they
intentions.
act like they want to know
They-
everything about you. Let me get in you, and that's so they can mirror you and make you think you're perfect. You have a
Yes.
good relationship, and also they're going to know what you're willing to put up with.
Yes.
So when I first talked about my splitting up with my ex-husband, I said, well, you know, of course, he had an affair on me. He cheated
Yeah.
on me. Oh,
Oh.
well, now I know what
Now
you're
I
willing
know
to
what
put
you're
up
willing to
with.
put
Yeah,
up with.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I don't
Because
tell
you
them
go
anything.
sharing everything.
You're oversharing, and then they're
I-
using it to.
I tell you, YouTube is going hot out here.
Yes, we have some comments.
Yes, we're gonna jump
I'll
into
put those
that.
up on the screen. This is from DC. They said,
well, it's that time for the question and answer segment, so let's just go
yes.
for
Well, I'll read some of the comments and then we'll go into
Yeah.
the actual questions.
hello there, Dwayne. That's my brother there.
That's your
DC.
brother, DC. Hello.
it. Hey,
He said, the Bible says that people have a form of godliness. It's an outward appearance of godliness. They look good on the outside, but they are not the same on the inside.
Mhm.
And he said that read Timothy, 2 Timothy. I can't read that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's-
Second Timothy 3 and 5 and 6.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm
That's
struggling with the numbers.
That's
That sounds like my brother right there. Good
And then-
morning, brother.
Sonia Smith said, I personally know the Carters opened my eyes to an unhealthy relationship, and I've been happier without the other person's brokenness projected onto me.
Wow. Thanks, Sonia.
You know what, too? I want
Wow.
to say, so we're talking about relationships. It's actually okay to have a point in your life when you're not in a relationship.
Yes,
You should.
It is so
I think you should,
important
because
because you gotta
that's-
date yourself.
That's when you can step back, evaluate, heal, find
Mhm.
help, surround yourself with people that love you.
Be
And
with your friends.
right.
Fun.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Stress
You
about,
don't have
you
to
know?
go from relationship to relationship to relationship
Mhm.
because you're not going to grow.
Right.
You're not.
You're not going to
That's
grow.
it. Most of us are people that like to want to fill voids in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course.
And we keep seeking, trying to fill this hole in our lives,
Mm-hmm.
and keep throwing sand, and the sand is not sticking. And we keep
Still
on
doing
doing
it.
the same
Yep.
thing over
Over and
and
over.
over and over,
Yeah.
trying to fill this void.
I know how to feel it. A rotisserie chicken from Sam's.
Is that what it is?
You know what?
And so
I was thinking
you know
something.
how to fill the void,
Right.
but we don't seek what we need to seek
That's true.
to fill the voids in our lives.
Well,
It makes us whole.
I'm gonna ask before we get to this question and answer segment. I want to throw a question out there that I think is
Relevant to the show.
yes. How do you deal? How has dealing with a toxic person affected on how to go into a affected you on how to go into a romantic relationship?
Say that again.
How has dealing with being in a toxic relationship affected you in going into a romantic? If you've been in one and now you're
Going into another relationship.
a good relationship, a healthy relationship.
I think personally, and I'm gonna turn this over to the ladies. I think personally, when you've been hurt, you bring that hurt into another relationship,
Yes.
and it's hard for you to trust. It's hard
Yes.
for you to feel. It's hard for you to.
And until you get-
All I see is lies, because that's
wow,
what I'm used to seeing.
Prove it.
Yeah.
If I go into like I
That's
want the other
real
person
good,
to prove
brother.
their worth to me.
Yeah.
And I am still, I'm in a relationship, but I'm probably not in
the relationship.
the one that I would see as my optimum relationship.
So do you find yourself sometime, and I'm just putting out there, do you think sometime that you stay in relationships or you're in this relationship knowing that that's not, like you say, you don't, okay.
Right.
We
Yeah.
do it because it's safe? Or you do it because of what? Why
Well,
are you doing it?
it's to me, it's like it's a lot better than my last relationship. But I like you said, I carry, and I have trust issues, and there are things that I want to change, but
You just can't.
I'm not quite there yet. I'm still, even at my age, I'm still learning and growing, and
Yeah.
That's good. But it's good that you recognize
I recognize it, but
That's good.
I recognize it, which is a big step, but I'm still not fixing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a good question.
Okay.
Do you find now that you're in your 30s now that
I know.
I love you to death for that.
that I'm thinking that women are desperate these days. They think they're running out of time,
Ooh.
and they
I have a lot to say
seem
about that.
seem to latch on to just anything, trying to make something tangible out of some untangible situations. Is that a fair assessment?
That's a deep assessment. But I that goes both ways. I really don't think, I mean, as just humans, I really don't think people just want to be alone. I think they want a companion. I don't know, Jen, what do you
That's
think?
deep.
I actually, well,
What do you say, YouTube?
yeah, YouTube, what you got?
Facebook.
Desperate strong. Earlier we started to talk about like the dating scene once you reach a certain age, 30s. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
The problem, my personal problem in the dating world is I get a lot of stuff from my friends about this, is that I date younger. Not my choice, right? I feel that the men my age.
Wait a minute. What you mean, not your choice?
Well,
Get him, baby.
give me a minute here.
Give me a minute.
I've like the men my age have just divorced women my age.
Oh.
So they're going, let's go younger. Let's get a
Okay.
young little pretty thing,
Okay.
Men my age are either married or completely like, oh yeah, no, I need a, young little thing. So for whatever reason, I now attract younger men.
That's to make yourself feel better.
No, I don't feel better. It's it ends up with these problems.
I think it
'cause
is
our
for a
maturity
man.
level.
A man would seek a younger woman to make himself feel better.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
Well, and then the younger men, maybe they watch a lot of stuff on the internet,
They think she's a sugar mama.
or can I say this on the radio? Or a MILF, right?
What's
Yeah.
what?
And let me just let you know, I'm neither.
What?
Mom, I'd like to.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So there's a whole category in the
Oh,
X-rated industry about this.
Oh my.
Oh.
And I feel like
that's
so
for
young.
another show.
Can I say though?
Yes, I feel like younger
You need to
guys are
come on
like,
to the podcast. For that.
But in the dating world though,
I feel like younger guys are like, hey.
but another thing, you don't look your age.
True.
So
Yeah, because I don't look 35.
But
But not only that, but or like she says, or they look at you at like, oh, you have your own house, you have your own car, you have a
Mhm.
stable job. Like, I'm moving in.
I'm
Right.
moving in. Yeah.
Or I'm a sugar mama. I am neither of these things.
Mhm.
Okay.
No.
Because I'm not freaky
And
and I don't got a lot of money.
Okay.
And if I do,
Right,
I'm
but
not
I-
sharing it.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
but I have been where I feel targeted a
You
lot
freaky?
of times.
sure.
Oh,
I'm
whoa.
sorry.
Where did I jump into this conversation?
Y'all know he sits back and waits.
I know.
to kill.
And-
And her house is twice the size of mine.
But but
you
there
like
are.
a good sugar mama. then.
Oh man. But I feel targeted sometimes.
Well, I tell her, I was like, you driving around in that nice car, you got that nice house, girl, watch out.
Watch out.
Those young ones gonna latch on.
They're gonna latch on, sugar mama. Well, I think it's
Where
time.
do you hang out? Let's see if you
In her
hang
big
out in
house.
places where the young people hang out.
Do you mind if before we go do our Q&A, we go on a quick break? I think I have a song that goes with the vibe for today.
Okay, then we're gonna
Oh,
take a
boy.
quick break and we'll be right
gonna
back
dance?
with these quick. Hey guys, before we go there, put your questions and answers in there. Questions or comments,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
we are gonna come back.
And also, Stephanie, put something in the captures that'll help us for this conversation today. I know you're out there.
All righty, we are back, and it is time for question and answers. Come on, Abigail, give us some of that hot piping
I like
tea that's out
Evan.
there.
Evan got a question on Facebook over there.
Yeah.
We're gonna-
Evan Smith said from Facebook, is it harder for men to let go of emotions more than women, or is it the opposite?
Mm.
Mm.
And I would probably go back to what I said earlier. It's harder for men to let go because they don't even express their emotion. That's my thought.
I
agree.
would agree. There's kind of like this theory that people say, like when a man and a woman breaks up, the woman is crying like
Yes.
right off the jump. She's
Mhm.
crying. She's a wreck for like at least depending on how long the relationship was. Let's just say like a month.
Forever.
Yes, yes.
And then the man, he's off partying. He's on Tinder. He's
Mhm.
doing what he do. And then 6 months later, he's running back.
Mhm.
He misses you. He misses the feeling you
Mhm.
gave him and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So I do think it's actually harder for men to let go than women.
I think I'm gonna agree with you for this segment.
For this segment only.
I'm gonna agree with you, ladies, on this one because as I look around the world today and see the news, I see men are going out. They get attached to a woman, and then they can't accept her being with someone else.
What do you mean they get attached to her?
Men tend to
I thought y'all didn't
claim.
get-
They claim.
they claim.
Yeah, yeah.
So in other words, what you're saying, they
Yeah.
cleave with the woman,
Yeah.
and then when it's over with, they really struggle with her moving on and being with
Moving on,
somebody else.
And then all of a sudden you have gun
Issues.
violence
Okay,
showing up.
issues. Issues.
Sitting in your bushes waiting on you to come home. All this.
Oh, and they be in their
You
feelings.
had that happen?
Oh.
Jump in at any minute. Jump in at any
Just
minute.
gonna go ahead and be quiet right now.
That was real petty, Brother
Yeah.
Carter.
No,
That was real petty.
This
I feel like he knows some things.
This is
He
real
had no
thing.
idea. He had
Yeah.
no idea.
I
Really.
feel like
we-
you know some things, brother.
And he
Yeah.
don't.
And we
literally.
cannot accept you being with someone else. So I'll agree with you. That's a good question, Evan.
That's a
That was a
whole
really good
another
question.
show.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
This one is more of a comment. This is from Sonia. She said, in my 50s, I'm patiently waiting on my real husband, but he has to be my best friend first. I don't consider time because it's about God's timing. No rush.
And Sonia, you hit the nail on the head. You're waiting. you're
That's right.
waiting. Keep waiting, and you will know, because it'll be so plain that he is your best friend. Brother Carter, even though him and I may disagree on different things, he is my best friend. I don't care. There is no place I can go that I don't want to go with him. Going dancing, hang out with my girlfriend. Nah, I'd rather hang out with this is my best friend.
God bless you.
Yeah,
I think earlier you had said something about being at a point in your life where the women are desperate or whatever. I think it's actually the opposite, at least for me. At this point in life,
You think like a man. So.
well, it's true.
Did you get with Steve Harvey to write that book?
But at this point in life, you've either been married or divorced or never married, right? Or you have your children. I'm not looking to have children. I don't even need to be married, so I'm not desperate.
Right.
I want to meet somebody who's my best friend and have fun with, because I don't need to be married again.
Right.
I'm not 20 and trying to build my life, right? I'm done.
Yeah.
So,
but there's so many
actually,
women
you're
out
more
there.
healthier than you think you
yeah, like I'm not. Yeah, I don't feel desperate. I mean, do I want to be alone for the rest of my life? Not ideally, but it could be.
Yeah.
I could be.
That's good. You can accept that. There are a lot of women out there that are even married that are desperate to have someone compliment them and
True.
show them some love, appreciation, or value.
That's true.
And they're in a whole relationship. Been for years.
And not feeling good and validated in the relationship.
Yeah. So on Sonia's question,
very good,
before you leave on that, on Sonia's question, I have to give a Bible analogy to everything.
Okay, go ahead.
The Bible doesn't never mention anything about a woman finding a husband.
Come on now.
The Bible mentions that a man who findeth a wife found it a good thing. So let a man find you. You don't go seek to find the man. Amen?
We are the prize.
All right. You better know it.
Okay.
If you don't know it, then you will be the prey.
Okay, baby, repeat now. That's what.
Prey.
Okay, y'all.
Can we get that embroidered on a hat?
That one more time.
I'm gonna have to.
That's a good.
Can we get a
one.
bumper
That's a good
sticker?
one.
That's a good one. Can you repeat
Say it
that,
again.
Brother Carter? Please say that one more time.
Well,
Look into the camera.
Before I say that, I need to make sure I'm patenting that.
Okay, you are. That's yours.
This is your camera.
This is your camera right there. Say it, baby.
So if you're not the prize, you are the prey.
And he said that.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. There you go. There you go. There you go. And what else we got?
Okay, so this one, I think you and Brother Carter could answer this one very well.
Uh-oh.
I'm being petty now too.
Uh-oh.
Is there any way to fix a toxic relationship?
Yes.
I'm gonna let you answer that.
Okay. I say yes.
How do you fix our toxicity?
He is so perfect.
How do you fix it?
He is so petty.
'Cause we are toxic.
There are times we are.
Yeah. So how do you fix us?
Tune into Tasteful and Toxic on the radio station. That's another show we got going.
We have a whole other show about that. Well, I think one of the things that you do is that you have to know when to fall back. You can't win every argument.
Know when to roll them. Know when to fold them.
Yeah.
All right.
You have to know when to fall back, because you can't win every conversation. You can't win every argument.
What?
You can't. Because I'm going to win.
Oh,
Okay,
She
you
can.
can't
You
win.
can.
That's right.
Okay.
that's how we fix it.
Listen,
I
man.
know I can't win the argument.
No, you can't win every conversation. And you have to really, for me, I'm going to
You
be
saying that for yourself as well?
No, I'm trying to help you.
Oh, baby.
You see why this is my best friend?
You are accepted.
Okay, thank y'all. Here y'all go. Did we answer the question?
No, but she did.
Okay,
Val
go-
did.
Yeah,
Okay.
Val did.
One of you needs to
That's
sit
what-
back, and it needs to be the man.
And the
That's
man,
what she said.
The man need to make sure he keep the peace in the house as best as possible.
Well, when
They
I-
do say happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say this. When the house is off balance,
It's the man's fault.
it is.
It is.
Because he's the head,
Mhm.
literally. So if our house is all chaotic and crazy,
Yeah,
check yourself.
yeah.
And that's not taking anything from his manhood.
Mhm.
That is what a man is supposed to do. He's supposed to keep his house in order. So thank you, baby.
When a man loves a woman,
Come on now.
can't keep his mind on nothing else.
Here you go with something else.
Can you sing it?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
All right, next.
This is another one from Facebook from Marco Goodwin.
Marco, hey Marco.
What's up, Marco?
Hello.
He said, "What kind of situations can create insecurity?"
There's a lot of situations that can create insecurities.
I'm gonna give you one good one. When you haven't dealt with your own trauma, because you're walking in a place of brokenness, so that insecurity is already there, and you got to just kind of dig into some stuff that have went on. Because if you're whole and healthy, you're not walking around insecure. You're good in your space. So
Everyone has insecurities.
because
Everyone.
you have insecurity. Nope, you have insecurities because you have some stuff you haven't dealt with. That's my opinion.
Could I elaborate?
Go ahead.
Yes.
I would say pretty kind of like what Brother Carter was talking about. Pretty much any situation can create insecurities because like the word describes, it's when you're without security. It's when you're in a situation or like a mental space pretty much where you have no solidarity, right? And we kind
Well,
of
where did that come from?
well, I think in general, just kind of growing up, it's like when you're a baby, you're dependent upon your mom for everything, right? But
Come
as a
on now,
parent,
go on and analyze, girl.
but as a parent and everything, part of that responsibility of being a parent is being able to help your kids feel secure, not just like, the basic, Maslow hierarchy kind of thing,
Mhm.
but like within themselves and who they, like who you say they are and like helping them find their identity and everything. And and like just like as time goes on, I mean, like Kevin Brother Carter talked about, we always have insecurities. There are some things we're more prone to, but at the end of the day, if you just encounter a situation that just, makes you feel insecure, that's how insecurities develop.
But
I-
again,
But the goal is to grow from that.
I think you get insecure. It's been put onto you by somebody else.
yes,
Mhm.
it really has.
I mean, think about all your insecurities. If
Yes.
you're insecure about your looks, that's because somebody told you didn't look good.
Okay, I appreciate
Even when you it started when you was a little kid.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
You
like
carry
I
that with
told
you
you
your whole
earlier,
life.
those little things
Yeah.
happen in your life when you were a young
It
kid.
could be a little 6-year-old boy that tell you,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you,
you have
guys,
ugly freckles.
you have no idea what you just said is so
That's true.
true. Because if I spent so much time, and I'm sorry, guys, it's the Love and Victory Show with Val, so I can give my testimony, okay, and my deliverance.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of time of the trauma when I was in elementary school. My peers were so mean to me. They were able to say all of the things that I struggled with. I had a big head, big eyes. You're too tall. You're ugly. All of those things. And so I carried those things around for years. And I also took that trauma, that brokenness, and I brought it into my relationships. And so that's when I said to you guys earlier that I used him as my savior. Because
please stop saying that.
well, no, that's
You're
because
giving me too much credit. Huh?
No. That's because
But in your mind, that's
no.
yeah. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, that's why I say to you that people have so many traumas and brokenness that they bring into a relationship, and then you connect yourself with someone that's still broken, but they are a light, and you just want some of that light that they have so you can come out of this dark place. And so I'm saying, I don't know why I got back into all of that, but anyway.
Yeah. So any kind of situation, to answer the question that Marco posed, I believe any situation can create insecurities. And what I do when I tend to run into feeling insecure is lace my bootstraps up real tight and go in the mirror and boost myself up, tell myself I'm important, I'm good looking.
So you give yourself affirmation.
I give myself affirmation. I build my own character back up when it's been broken down, because all of us have situations where your character being broken down, and you have to find a way to build it back up at some point.
I think you have to ask yourself if a situation or a person is making you feel your insecurities. Was that the situation?
No,
what's the real story?
Don't put it in other people.
No, but if you're
always
feeling
put your insecurities within yourself,
right,
and build yourself. Don't that's the worst thing we can do.
If you're feeling it, right, you have to assess the situation. Why am I feeling this way? Is this
Right.
just
Yeah.
my am I bringing this from another situation?
Right.
Yes.
Or is this
the
do I
person?
have do I have to dig deeper here?
Yes.
Why do I feel like this person's lying to me?
Right.
Yeah.
Are they lying to me, or am I just been lied to in the
But,
past?
what I'm saying on that situation
rough.
is don't put your hope insecurities in someone outside of yourself.
Sure. Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying
Mhm.
about that. Abigail, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, when it comes to insecurity, it's not even just about looks. And I feel like often people they have their own insecurity, so that's why they might be poking something about you. Like for me, for instance, like I didn't really get made fun of a ton for like the way that I looked growing up, but I'm a very loud person. I'm loud, I'm outgoing, I'm goofy. And for a long time, people hated me for that. And like I realized as I got older, people loved me for it.
Yeah.
But I still have that insecurity from when I'm younger where I kind of suppressed that side of me a little bit. And now people are trying to get it out of me. And I'm like, y'all are the people that
Tried to kill it.
tried to kill the light in me.
Yes.
And now they're like seeking it because they're insecure in themselves and they want to
Right.
take it from
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah.
She was growing up in school. I would always like elementary school. Her teachers, you know, you have the little conferences where
Yeah.
they either loved her, she was a shining star, loved me some Abigail, you know, or they were like, I cannot stand this child.
Well,
She's disruptive. She talks all the time. She's loud. I mean, there was
She's loud.
a little bit. She was.
you know,
That laugh though.
I know, and I can totally relate to that. I'm sorry. I want to get a couple of more questions in because we're at the end of it. I want to get a couple of more. I know we're at the
Quick
end.
questions.
Quick stay comments.
Very similar,
Okay.
the questions.
Okay, well, give me some more because I don't want people to feel like I'm going to go back.
Shout out just somebody. Then.
No, I want to go to Cynthia Wilburn. If you go on YouTube, she just said, that's the word from the Lord. Thank you, Brother Carter. What she was talking about, she said, a man is the band around his house. When I was talking about the man being responsible for what happens in their house, if their house is off order, it's out of order, it's chaotic, it is in a marriage. It is the man's responsibility. So, Cynthia, I agree with you 100%. Anything on Facebook?
Yeah, actually, we just got one from Kristin Rosales. She said, thoughts on why men switch emotions so quickly. You love me one week and then it's over the next. Brother Carter?
Brother Carter?
Repeat.
See?
Thoughts on why men switch emotions so quickly. You love me one week and then over it the next.
Really?
Don't be safe. It's women in here today.
What kind of man is that?
Facts.
I think I'll answer. I feel like I know men very well. I think men, a lot of the times, not all men, obviously, they see a shiny new toy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Squirrel.
is the grass greener on the other side?
Mm-hmm.
You know, can this person make me happier than the current situation I'm in? I think people fantasize, they daydream. What could I have? What could I have that I don't have, instead of appreciating what's in front of them?
That's where social media has just ruined so many relationships.
You're
It's ruined relationships.
saturated with all this content of like relationships, these other beautiful women. There's always going to be other beautiful
There's
women
always
out
gonna
there.
Be someone better.
Right. But
Yeah.
now
worse.
people have that access in their palm of their hand.
And they have to put it down because is that
do.
really real? It's not. I think a great way to end this segment is best. I think I love the comment that just came in from what is it?
I think that's
Unscripted.
I think that's Diamond.
No, I don't think that's not.
Angel?
That's Angel. That's my
Angel,
daughter.
sorry, Angel.
That's my daughter. And it says, happy house, happy spouse. I think this is a great way to end this segment.
Hey, Angel.
Hey, Angel. Thank you for that great comment. This has actually been a great show. I hate when we have to get to this point. Final thoughts. I'm going to ask my wonderful friends of the Love and Victory Show to share with the listeners and with us your experience on the show and how they can find you, or if you want them to find you, and will you come back?
I'll always come back. You know that. I very much look forward to coming, and I hate when it ends because I feel like right when we get into like, let's go, we got
Exactly.
It's time.
plus, as you know, I have a lot to say.
I know, and I
So-
want everything that you have to say.
So thank you so much for having me, and we'll come back for part 2.
Part 2.
Brother Carter's
Part
looking
two.
forward to it.
Part 2 of Stop Playing It Safe. What? Stop playing with my emotions.
Yeah, we should have a part two.
I think we should.
Wow.
Abigail,
Yes, I got you.
book it. Okay, book it. And it has to happen this summer. Okay. There you go.
And Brother Carter, I'd like to thank one thing that you said. It is so important for everyone to just stop, breathe, look in the mirror every once in a while and say that you're worthy.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
you might have people telling you, you might not hear it, but you have to tell yourself that you're
Yeah.
worthy of love, respect, and a
Mhm.
good relationship.
Yeah.
Wow.
Michael Jackson said it first. So I'm just repeating what he said. I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
True.
I'm
Feel like
asking him to change his ways.
Mm.
That's what the
But
song
don't
says.
expect other people to change your
Right.
life. You have to
You
change
have to
your
do it right. Because if you put hope in other people,
You can put hope in other people.
no.
I believe you can put hope in other people.
When I say that, I mean when you put hope in other people to make you
Right. You can't put it
something.
all in their bucket.
Right. You can't give that to other people. You have to have that.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to
And I appreciate you
and I'ma
saying I
end
was a
this.
sort of a savior.
Well,
for
you know, I'm going to say he was, when I tell you, and I have to say this because you have to have something, and I do believe that God gives people and place people in your life when he know that you are weaker and you're not strong enough to do it on your own.
Mm.
I do believe that he placed Lawrence in my
Yeah.
life.
Mhm,
Had I not had him in my life, I don't know where I would have been
mhm,
because I was a
Mhm.
broken young lady. And I thank God that he placed him in my life. And I think that God really puts people in your life at the
Mhm.
right time. Honestly, your friendship, you guys' friendship is so beautiful. It's so unique that you got to hear each other. And you guys can talk to each other. You can curse each other out. You can do whatever you do to communicate to get each other's attention. Trust it. Even when they're doing things, even when the other one is doing things that you don't agree with or you don't want to hear, trust
Mhm.
it because y'all have each other's back. I trust him.
Mhm.
There are times when I absolutely can't stand to hear his voice
Right.
because he's telling me something that I really need to hear,
Mhm,
but I trust him and I have to go into my secret place
mhm.
and say, you know what? That's your best friend. He's coming from a good place. He only wants the best for me.
All right.
And so, no, I'm not going to wrap this thing up that quick.
I have one thing that I have to
Yeah.
say. God also puts people in your life that aren't supposed to stay there.
And you have to know that you have to have
Right.
that good judgment, that good.
Mhm.
But people are there to teach you a lesson and to help you grow. And that can be,
and you have to know
that
when to
can be-
exit them out the
but
building.
that can be someone who's not supposed to be there forever.
Well, God may
True
not have
that.
put them in there. You may have let them in there.
There's that too.
I'm just saying.
And so you too can feel better about your life as my wife do when she captured me. And
Oh God!
So you can have that same good feeling by tuning in to the Love and Victory Show every Saturday from 8 to 10 here with Brother Carter. Gonna be right here.
Here with Brother
and to
Carter.
encourage
Brother
you.
Carter.
Brother
Yeah.
Carter.
Yes.
The Love and Victory Show with
love
Just
Val.
like
is-
I encourage my
No.
wife.
Here
I
we got
can encourage you.
We always have this fight. He is the co-host. That's why I love you, baby. Are they tuning into the show for Brother Carter? Are they tuning in the show for
trying
love?
to help somebody. That's all. I'm just a nobody trying to tell.
everybody how to help
Nobody trying to
somebody.
tell everybody.
It's
All
getting
right.
warm in here, y'all.
We got to get out here and tell next.
Nobody trying to tell
Okay, can-
everybody about somebody.
How
There
can they
we go.
find us, Abigail? Don't turn us off so quick.
They can find us LV.
Your mic is off.
Your mic is off. We don't hear nothing you saying.
You can find us on LV with Val on all social medias, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram,
Look
whatever
up,
else
folks,
there is.
that's
We
why
probably
you
have it.
got
LV
to
with
go
Val.
to-
Make sure you follow us. Download the app, and we will see you next time.